much lighter note, I know y'all seen T.I. Tipster have a Will Smith type meltdown at a comedy show. Oh, I mean, we've never acknowledged here in the black box that Tip has took on a new career as a comedian. I just became aware of that recently, and must I say how some people come full circle in their experience, and he finally probably found the place that suits him most to try to fit in amongst the clowns, the jesters, the goofies. Oh, Baba, you dig Elijah? How many? I don't. I wonder. I wonder how many of y'all have seen the footage of Ti in a apparent comedy club, and it seems as if there's a female on stage doing a set, and somehow Ti, similar to Will Smith, finds the courage to basically approach a stage that was not prepared for himself, that was occupied by someone that he felt he can physically dominate and just disrespect without any physical repercussions. And he took advantage of that. And he was so emotional in this rant that he did in this comedy club because the female happened to make a reference to the allegations that were made against T.I. Tipster Harris and his wife. So he emotionally, he multiple times took advantage of his celebrity to utilize the second microphone to drown her out, be extremely disrespectful to what she was trying to accomplish there. And she, like a G, less established when it comes to the public than him, she sat back and just let him, like a female, run his mouth. Ran his mouth for about as long, slightly less long, as he ran his mouth on the stand in the murder trial against Hosea Thomas on behalf of the prosecution. But he just showed his personality of what he does in his natural form when pressure is applied. He just ran his mouth. He ran his mouth, way more than the female. Once he finished, finally run his mouth, the female concluded with saying quite a few words like a G would, and told him, I wish the fuck I would allow whatever you going through to stop me from saying whatever he, while trying to deny being the type of individual that would ever physically do anything to a female that she did not desire, bullied this woman on camera over and over again. Then he engaged into a hugging encounter with her that she did not desire. She was trying to push away. And this is in the midst of a very toxic exchange of energy that was very aggressive on both sides at this point. He just out of nowhere came with this irrational gesture to make a hug, and when she was resisting, he forced it upon her to engage in this hug. She slightly did. And if you just judge the footage in all, he just seems so, he went on this whole double entendre about don't speak on my situation or these allegations because I'm not that nigga. I ain't never been that nigga. And you ain't gonna never treat me like that nigga because guess what? I'm that nigga. And he was just trying to be so metaphoric and poetic with it, right? And I'm tripping because bam, it was what it was. She waited till he went on this whole little rant. And then she got on the mic like a G, shut him down, said what she had to say, bam. Then I look up later on, as someone in her position most definitely should have, she gave some commentary, like it looked like a live from one of her social media platforms, and she spoke on the event because when you look at the footage, you get this irrational reaction out of T.I. Tip Harris, and you're not quite sure, you know, the context of which everything took place. And she takes it upon herself to put everything in context. And if you listen to what she says actually took place, he began to heckle her initially. And then he, as only a feminine, guilty, emotional person that saw some footage of them when they were under the influence and wasn't proud of what they did and then trying to justify it. This is exactly who he is, because he was obviously loaded when he was on the rant. But he comes to follow up her statement, and like a woman just, or a child, I don't know if it was more childish or was it more feminine, the way he tried to tit-tat and knick-knack and it was both, and explain himself. Oh, my mama. Somebody said I'm on mute. No sound. Is that right? I don't know if that's just for you, because can everybody else, is that like, everybody else can hear me? C-Rad? The great? I mean, like, okay. So, yeah, you just threw me off. Everybody else can hear me. My bad. He just threw me off. But anyway, so, it's my thing, cuz. So, in the process of this nigga saying that fuck, I'm glad you just messed my head up, man. Everybody else can hear me. Damn. The nigga told the broad, I ain't called you no bitch throughout the process. And then he like, if I called you a bitch, I'll give you $1 million. Then they got footage of him actually in there calling her bitch. I wonder if she gonna get her ticket. But the thing of this, on top of it as well, was this that really struck me. And I want to get your thoughts on this. In his commentary, after she spoke on it, then he tried to come back and rebuttal. This nigga say, oh, I ain't call you no bitch. If I call you a bitch, why you sit next to me talking about, let me get your Instagram, follow me on IG? This nigga has been famous for I don't know how long. This is an up-and-coming artist trying to establish themselves. You feel like that's a point to say about this female that, oh, she asked for you to follow on Instagram after all this, like that somehow puts her in a position of not feeling like everything she say is official. Guess what? This is what I want to say. This is what he threw me off on. The whole shit apparently started, according to T.I. Tip Harris and the female. She was on stage. He heckled her by making the assertion that her wig might be attached to her hat, and he thought that was cool. After the Jada hair wheel and all that, she's on stage performing. He already did a 45-minute set, according to her. Now he's an audience member. She's doing her set, and he heckles her by clowning her hairdress and her hat and saying that her weave or her wig and hat might be attached. This is his explanation as to why what he said was cool, and then what she said was not cool. In response, she said, he asked, is that hat and that wig connected? Her response was, I'll answer that question when you explain about the allegations on you and your wife. Struck a nerve. PM, what? He lost it, melted down. He wanted to do a Will Smith, but she was a female. So he even, like, you know how articulate he attempts or appears to be. I won't even say attempt because he's extremely articulate. This is what he went through emotionally. He on the mic getting a rant on public, in camera, in front of all kind of people. And he told her, you better quit saying that on me because it ain't true. And if you keep saying it, he was like, he went into such a threatening, and then he just curved his words to say something very non-threatening. And then, while trying to tell the world he's nothing like a rapist, he told that audience that any bitch don't like him, she got the problem. He was insinuating he would never have to utilize any type of physical coercion or anything that can be considered as force to receive some type of reciprocation of affection from a female. This was his overall implication. And then he stood on stage and tried to force this woman to hug him, man. It was so creepy. It was the creepiest thing in context of this is a guy who's up here defending himself from being a creep with women. And here it is, a woman he's having an argument with. And he out of nowhere, in a bipolar sense, where it was so much, you would think they were beefing. He out of nowhere tried to start hugging on her, like, and she's like pushing away, cuz you got to see it in that context. And he's up there defending himself against being a guy. He's trying to express himself. First of all, he's the furthest from a person that would have to motivate a female to show him some affection. Did you ever? I know you haven't seen. You saw the footage. And did you think about it from that context? Did you see him try to force the hug viciously?
Hell yeah, I seen that. And she told him, shit, fuck off, me nigga. I seen that.
She was pushing him off. And he was trying to force her to hug him. So just think about 25 women who might not want to be hugged, touched, kissed, and fucked. But you're doing some drugs, some alcohol, some music, and just think about that energy he was giving when she was pushing away. Guess what she eventually did? She eventually kind of linked in, got the hug over with. But just think, you ain't on public, you ain't on camera, you ain't mad. You was there to probably try to get something going on with dude romantically, thinking maybe next time you might have gave him some pussy. But now they had throwing some pressure, some pills, a Miss Piggy with a punani, and that same energy of his coercion, using his physical presence. He used his strength as a man that she couldn't resist. Just think about a man resisting a hug beyond this. Your next step is an elbow punch or a slap. But this is a woman. He lucky. I swear to God. On my mama. If she wanted to be super petty, she could get a check out of him right now. Cause he touched all on her while she was resisting, my nigga. White woman would be suing him right now. He need to be on her line, bowing it down. You feel me, Vicious?
Hell yeah, that white woman would have sued him with no evidence. Shit, we know what's up. And then on top of that, like, okay, this is what's funny about all this. Okay, so you all up in your feelings or whatnot, you done made the joke about her or whatever, but as soon as someone says something about you, it's a problem. You chose this field. You chose this comedy field, so you are not above getting joked on. But he was also on an episode of Roast Me, and the second he came in when they announced him, Craig Smith was like, "Hey yo, check that
checking for a wire."
You ain't get that hat.
He didn't go off on her. He didn't go off on him. On my mama. I just seen that when they was in the little class. No. They was in the classroom. Soon as he walked in, I get the. Yep. Just give y'all some premise. There's a show he's involved in, some new shit. I don't know what it is, but they even had the homie Boo Capone from Inglewood. Shout out Boo Capone. I felt good to see a Southern California native was a real MC with this G shit, getting some shine. But they in this room full of comedians, and the thing is, apparently, you got a crowd, a group of homies, and then as you sit up in the front, everybody takes shots at you. And then they bring a nigga in out of nowhere, and as soon as you go in there, niggas is shooting at you. And T.I. walk in the room, the comedians is there. First thing out of nigga mouth is, check that nigga for a wire. Now.
Craig Smith said that.
T.I. had he act like he didn't hear it. They went on and laughed about everything else. They got to shooting jokes about all type of random regular stuff. However, he did not have a reaction anywhere reminiscent to the reaction he had with this apparently defenseless female who said something about allegations. And he tried to, after he tried to clarify, he said, I said something to you that might have been true. Your hat might have been attached to your wig. He being very condescending, ignorant. He's defying everything that he's established himself as an intelligent individual in his recap of the incident, because he's going so elementary, it's ridiculous. He's saying, what I said about you might have been true about your hat, but you said to me is false. What she said to you is, I'll explain my head situation when you explain the allegations. Although the allegations may be false, there are actual allegations. Just like your suggestion of her hat and her hair being connected may be false, you're saying there's a possibility it may be true. Just because you declare that the allegations aren't true doesn't mean it's not true. So you spoke about her in an ill way first, but yet you had not enough firmness and man in you to take it to where you had to get up and get on all this feminine rant. I can't believe it. He defies everything that he tries to establish himself. Guess what? Code he stuck to this time when we come to the G code. Not just the goofy code, but the girl code. Because I guess what? A girl sure would have got up and went on a rant like that and shut her down and wouldn't let her get a word in. That's what another female would have did. Oh, my mama.
Let me add something today, if you don't mind, sir.
Please do.
I All right, so check this out. So, if anyone has seen the show Rosemary or whatever, they already have 5 seasons out. So what it is it's a group of comedians, whether it be on YouTube or whatever, and they crack jokes. So when you get up on the hot seat, everybody crack jokes on you, and they go in. There is no holding back. Like if anything is open. So when he put himself in that position, yeah, nigga was gonna say something about that, and he trying to act like he ain't here, but he laughed it off or whatnot. Now, because first of all, you in the right spot if you want to get wild with anyone. Cause Craig Smith ain't no little nigga. Okay, Craig Smith ain't little. So it wouldn't have been no situation.
And none of that. And there's footage of T.I. Tip Harris going on rants on the internet talking about anybody think I'm a snitch, holler at me when you see me. And we talk about them, partner, me and mine, got me and young. So here it is. First thing a nigga out his mouth when you walk a room is checking for a wire. And you didn't check partner. Then.
Where that paperwork party at then?
That's what I'm talking about. That is the same thing like Willie Smiley, man. He take advantage of the fact that was a female in the display of honorary that he wants the world to know that he possesses. He's never been able to get an example of it against a man.
All right.
It's man, that has to be.
And then on top of that, like she like old girl was telling her, and everyone else in the crowd, because you can see it in the video, like yo, this her shit. What you talking about? Like them motherfuckers were gonna get in on T.I. Like I don't think he had no help in that video because was mad about
he don't realize the only reason his rant was tolerated is because on a celebrity level, here we are, a community, a group of audiences and performers that have a fucking celebrity amongst us showing his ass. This is the only reason. Let's get all he gonna get. It wasn't because nobody was feeling his point. Nobody felt like he had the right to interrupt the show. They were allowing him to go as far as he was going to go in making an ass of himself so they could document it for their benefit as they should. And he tried to include that in his response that, guess what this goofy ass, arrogant, honorary nigga had the nerve to say? He said, I'm not in comedy for me. I'm in comedy to help everybody else in it. This why I'm getting in this shit. Yes. So he told her so condescendingly, I know you doing this to help yourself. This why I'm in the game. So use this moment to help yourself. But don't use it as some old man. That nigga is a politician. He need to be running for office. That's what you need to be doing, bro. Because you so specialize you specialize in making shit appear as sugar, bro. Oh, my mama.
Exactly. Let me say this, and I gotta head back to lunch. Okay, so since he want to go into the comedy game, but one day you want to get everybody to laugh, I got a good joke, man. I want to hear this joke right here. Why don't we upload that 45-minute video footage that you took off the internet?
Ho, that's the greatest joke. Ha. And the thing about it, look,
let's upload that 45-minute HD footage. I want to laugh at that.
And if you don't want to upload the footage, please just for one more time explain yourself from the perspective of how you feel knowing that you were a willing, not just willing, a star willing witness, participant on the behalf of the prosecution in a murder trial where you successfully assisted the prosecution in securing a conviction on a murderer who was sent away for the rest of his life.
63 years.
63 years for Hosea Thomas, and the prosecution deemed your participation as a witness as the star of its witness team. It postponed its whole trial for 2 years until you found yourself in a pickle to where then you needed to negotiate and they were able to persuade you to participate. Please explain yourself from that perspective instead of utilizing your advanced vocabulary that is apparently, obviously, no secretly advanced beyond your typical listener, and you're using it as a tool to dissuade people from the fact that you were one of the main pieces used by the prosecution to send a nigga away for 63 years on a murder, and you voluntarily participated. Speak on it like that. Why? Tell me what part of what I just said isn't true, and tell me how that does not classify you as a rat, a rotten rat. And we need to get rid of rotten rats. Riders. The riders need to get the G code. The get out by any means necessary code. That's the code he stick by. That's the G in his G.
I gotta get back here from lunch, OG. I'll holler at you soon now.
Much love. On my mama. Jeter. Oh, God. Y'all got to go tap in to the footage in question. Because I ain't putting no extras on nothing, man.
Snakewood and that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.